So what I was saying is that, of course, Lumira is not dead, and it's time to get some return of investment out of it. And we are going to explore some options you have in order to get the most out of Lumira during this webinar. So quick story, because you already seen the slide, and this one is a bit self-explanatory. So SAP has announced Lumira 2.0. There have been a lot of hype around that. But when Lumira 2.0 came out, it was late, it was half-baked. So a lot of people were disappointed. And less than 6 months later, SAP announced that the analytics strategy has shifted to a full cloud mode. And so the customers and the companies, okay, they started to think, we just bought a product, and no SAP announced that. So what should we do with that? We should just calm down and see what's going to happen next. And so what we see right now, back after the summer, as SAP has released the Lumira 2.2, is that we see a lot of companies that are starting to come back to Lumira, and for several options that we are going to see right now. So exactly, you have seen the slide already. So companies have tested SAP Analytics Cloud, but rather they would wait for a more complete product, or they just cannot move to the cloud for security reasons, or because it's not in the company strategy, etc. And sometimes they also do not want to invest time and money yet into another product because they just bought Lumira, and right now they are not ready to buy another product. And you have also companies that have tested competitor solutions to replace Lumira, but this solution, most of the time, they are not integrated well with the SAP BI environment that are in place. And so this is not an option, most of the time, for IT reasons, to go into these competitor solutions. So the companies have made a quick calculation based on what SAP has announced. 2 major releases are coming to Lumira within the next 3 years. So the 2.2 just came out, and 2 others are planned already. And SAP announced as well a 7-year maintenance and support time frame. So it means that the lifespan of SAP Lumira is still 10 years in front of us, and perhaps more. So I would say it's large enough in order to start doing something with that and really digging into it. So guys, it's time. Like I was mentioning, the company are going back to Lumira. They have invested time and money, and now they want to get some return on investment. And to get that, Galigeo, so I think most of you guys know us already. But Galigeo helps the companies, so they help you to get a faster return on investment by augmenting SAP Lumira with geoanalytics capabilities. And for perhaps some of you that don't know exactly what is geoanalytics, we are going to see that in the next slides. So the question is simple. You get Lumira, you get Galigeo together, and you can start really making something really meaningful in terms of analytics and in terms of business use cases. And of course, the pro about that is that Galigeo is a partner of SAP for a long time and is also certified. So when you mix Lumira and Galigeo together, you are sure that everything is on tracks regarding the product. So geoanalytics. Geoanalytics can be summed up as the concept that is behind maps, and is the concept between getting new insights using maps and not just using maps for sake. So in all your data sets, location data are mainstream, and more than 80% of your data contain a spatial dimension, meaning that it can be represented on a map. And most of the time, it's an unexploited gold mine in companies. But yeah, right now it's time to make advantage out of it for several reasons, like faster time to insights. A map is something that everyone understands almost immediately because we are used to work with it in our public life, in our daily life. It also helps to unveil proximity relationships and data trends by especially correlating together multiple data sets, for example, that have only one, I would say, common dimension, which is their spatial proximity. Using maps also improve the user experience. The adoptions and the communication of your analytics process. And of course, like I was mentioning earlier, faster time to action and faster return of investment, because you will get insights faster, you will get better insights, and you can make faster actions for your business. So I'm not going to bore you too much with slides because I know most of you came for product demonstration. So we are going to jump right into it. So there will be two product demonstrations. The first one will be on Lumira Discovery. And right before that, we are going to see the use cases we are going to leverage within Lumira Discovery. And right after, we are going to jump in Lumira Designer. And after that, we are going to make some big announcements. So make sure to stay tuned. So the first one, Galigeo for SAP Lumira Discovery. So just first, quick insights regarding Lumira Discovery. So we all know Lumira Discovery as a self-service BI tool. SAP has been promoting that for years right now. That is targeted for the business users and that have a lot of competitors on the market. But right now we see a use case emerging, a new use case emerging from the usage of Lumira Discovery, and this is what we call rapid prototyping. So Lumira is really good at prototyping business apps, dashboards, reports that fit business needs because it's way easier to use between IT and the business user in order to build something that is meaningful. Rather than, for example, having IT building something on one hand and then business responding in a Word file or in a PowerPoint, etc. The IT can start, I would say, prototyping something. The business can reopen the same file in Lumira, modify it, send it back to IT, etc., or share it to the BI platform for the prototyping process. And so it's really really fast to get something that is working. So working prototype, of course. And not, I would say, what like we call a white prototype, and something that after that can be industrialized into other solutions like we will see later. So let's jump right now into the demonstration. And this demonstration, I would say the main purpose of that. Yeah, I'm going to switch right now, right here, into Lumira Discovery. So it's based on a real use case we had with a customer that is working in the automotive industry. And right now, he had, I would say, logistics use cases, supply chain related use cases that was emitted from the business department, but the IT was struggling to make it work. They first started to try something into SAP UI5, build something from scratch, but the business was not okay, etc. And it took them 3 months for absolutely no result at the end. And we started to work together in order to build something quicker, and that was more, I would say, tailored to the business needs they had. So we used Lumira Discovery to build something really quickly. So I'm not going to demonstrate Lumira Discovery in itself because you all know it works. But the IT had a lot of requirements, like we want to be able to see flows of shipments, etc., across the US, and we want to see, for example, the volume of shipments, etc. And so they started to use maps in order to answer these use cases, etc. And so with using the Galigeo extension within Lumira Discovery, they were able to do that real quick. And right now, I would say I've stopped the prototype at a given point where the business said, okay, what I have right now is okay, but I'm still missing some information. And so let's say that I'm a business guy. Let's say that I'm a wholesale management. I'm working in the wholesale management. And right now I'm responsible of some wholesalers that are reselling shipments, and I want to keep track on some customer satisfactions, KPI, etc. And right now in these dashboards, they are not available. The IT did not design that, so I'm going to send them back versions with what I hope to see in the futures. So to do that is quite easy. Then I'm going to insert a chart, which will be a Galigeo map, of course. And so right now I'm going to add my new map and to import my own data sets in order to show IT what I would like to see in the future. So to do that, I need some new data, and there I do not need to specifically connect to my, I don't know, to my BO universe, to ANA, etc. in order to do the prototype. I can just use an Excel file that I have already on my laptop to show them what I want. So I'm going to use this one. I have already a sheet with a customer satisfaction KPI. So I'm just going to import it. So it's available right now. And I'm going to use it on my map to show the IT what I want. So there I have my performance, so customer satisfaction performance KPI, so which is mainly based on delivery time. And I have also the location of the different customers that I have. So in order to build what I want, it's just based on drag and drop. So this is what I was saying. It's really, really simple to do prototyping with that. Okay, I'm going to select the performance indicator, then the latitude and the longitude of my customers, and I'm going to have a first view of all my customers. And so the bigger it is, I would say the more customer satisfaction I have for these customers. And now that I have a lot of data, what I would like to see is more trends about customer satisfaction. Is there some areas where I have a high lake, some satisfaction, or the KPI are not going well, etc. So I can directly switch to heat map from there to have more an aggregated view of my KPI. I can play around with that, and so I can immediately know exactly. So the red areas means that there is might be an issue with the time delivery performance. And okay, I get the first view, so I can say, okay, I'm going to send this back to IT, and they will understand exactly what I need, and so they can automatically, I don't know, make something more industrialized. In order to not to use Excel file, but to use directly a BO universe in order to get this data, etc. Or they will be able to make new calculation directly in the database in order to improve the KPI. But yeah, it's all part of the prototyping process where I design something that I like, that I would like to see, and then someone else can make it more industrialized. And I could go even, I would say, deeper by saying I also have there a temporal dimension, because the different customers, they add the shipment at the different months, and perhaps there is a trend into the customer satisfaction KPI through time. And so it's also quite easy to make that work. I just have to there get the date dimension, and you see there it's not even recognized as a date dimension by Lumira, but it's just a text dimension. But I just drag it there, select it from here, and it's going to animate automatically. So you see January, February, etc. And it's all in 2 clicks. And I can provide that to IT and say, this is what I want to see, guys. This is really what matters for me. And so you see that everyone, I would say, from the business side, can create a map and can make it work, can create time series. I could have to do the same by creating hierarchies, something like that, etc. And so you can start to have a real meaningful back and forth, for example, between IT and business users regarding app prototyping using Lumira Discovery. And then I can share that to the IT, to the BA platform, or I can update the reports on the BA platform. They can update it on their side and say, okay, we understand what you guys want, and we are going to work on that to make that more, I would say, reliable on the back-end side. And of course, what you have done, it's not only you from your end and the IT. You can have multiple colleagues also working on the same prototype, and you can share ideas with them, and they can modify what you have done, etc., in order to really have something that is tailored to your needs. But that is interactive, because we have seen many customers, for example, that we are doing prototype but in Paint, They were just putting pictures together on top of that, say, okay, this is what we want. But yeah, in terms of interaction and etc., it's going to lack some capabilities to really understand what they need. For example, you just cannot animate something, which can be a little bit frustrating. And so there you really have the possibility to do that. And of course, you could say this is going to go in production when it's ready, using Lumira Discovery. But what we have also seen from experience is that sometimes Lumira Discovery suffers from what we call a rooftop effect, where business wants something that Lumira Discovery, so neither Galigeo for Lumira Discovery or Lumira Discovery, will be able to deliver, just because it's not the right product anymore. And because the use case goes beyond just data discovery and self-service BI. And for this case, you need something more like Lumira Designer in order to go more into custom applications, etc. And this is what we are going to see right now, guys. So let me switch back there to my slide deck. Sorry, this one, we have already seen it. So now what we have seen right now is more prototyping use cases in Lumira Discovery, and how easy it is to create maps using Galigeo in order to express what you want to be able to see in your reports, in your dashboards, and what you need, etc. But as I was saying, sometimes you need more than that, and you need the possibility to really have something that is more custom, because you have really specific needs, etc. And this is the time where you are going to switch to Lumira Designer. So the same, just quick introduction about Lumira Designer. I know it has been a bit underrated because SAP has not really marketed, and it was more all for discovery, but Lumira Designer is really powerful. And it has no really, I would say, competitors on the market with the capabilities it is able to deliver. So the initial use case was around governed BI. So the capacity for IT and business together, to build something. But what we see more and more, the use cases is around tailored applications. So it's exactly like I was mentioning during my demonstration of Lumira. The customer, the first thing that he did is trying to build something from scratch using SAP UI5, but it could be anything else, etc. But in terms of ability to maintain what they are going to build, etc., it will be really poor. And you have a tool for that, which is SAP Lumira Designer, that simplify a lot the development of custom application, of tailored application, that still level IT on business. And the main purpose is to industrialize business applications by putting custom logic in it. So we are going to jump right now into the demonstration of Galigeo for Lumira Designer in Lumira Designer. Okay. Still the same customer, the same use case, the same data sets behind, but now this is how the application has evolved. So what we have seen in Lumira Discovery was the prototype that was made and validated by the business users. And usage after usage, etc., they really wanted to improve user experience, and the business came back with some custom needs, etc. So they started to use what has been done in Lumira Discovery, but put more logic in it using Lumira Designer. So this is still the same industry, so the automotive industry with the logistic use case. But right now we have more a guided application. So the first thing that when you arrive on the application is that you can choose the state where you have the factory building the cars, and then sending the cars to suppliers. So you can choose on which state you want to use, you want to work, sorry. So for example, let's take the first one, the Nevada. So it's load me the application only with data from Nevada. And you see that I have a way more complete application than what I had in Lumira Discovery. I have several pages. I had a modal window. Right now I have the application, etc. So there, what you can see are the volume of in the shipments that were made to the different suppliers from the factory, etc. There you have another information which is also really helpful. This is the shipment that are between the suppliers and the customers this time. with a color code. So when it's red, that means that there have been a problem with the shipment. When it's orange, there have been a slight delay, and when it's red, it was okay. And so automatically, sorry, when it's green, it was okay. Sorry. And what you see that you can automatically see just by looking at the map that some suppliers, like this one, it has a lot of red and a lot of orange, meaning that perhaps it had a problem, and I have to go deeper on it to really understand what happened. And you see you have other kind of charts, like this one, which is the volume by suppliers, the quality, etc., etc. And so with this application, the first thing I can do is start to click on that, which is basically going to launch a custom script with the custom logic trying to get me to identify the problems and where are the shipments that I should really focus on. So I can click on that, identify problem, and it's going to select me only the suppliers that have more that had more than X problems. So this is a custom, I would say, value that I have defined that had more than X problems in the last, I don't know, let's say 7 days. And so you can see only these suppliers. The chart has been refreshed, of course. There you have an aggregated view of the customer satisfaction KPI. And you can select one of the shipments, click on that to really see exactly the problem and to identify them. So there you can see that on one specific day, there have been a lot of issues and a lot of delivery time have not been in time. And so there, okay, I can say, okay, there I can see the different customers. I can see their name, etc. And perhaps what I want to do right now, I could want to extract them to Excel. I don't know, to do another report. But perhaps I would like to do something directly in the application without having to export something into another tool, etc. Perhaps I want to take action right now in the application. And something you can do, for example, there is to open the customer's portal. So it's open directly there from the application. There you have only the customers where there have been a problem for the given shipments we have selected. And it's all thanks to the capability, the bidirectional capabilities between Lumira Designer and Galigeo for Lumira Designer. So I have them all. So the bigger they are, meaning that I would say the more volume they have received, but I would say too late because there have been an issue. And what you can do, for example, is take one, and you first, okay, perhaps I want to add a note. And you can, there, you can directly add a note, I don't know, like shipment was late because I don't know, etc. And there you can save that, and it can be, I would say, right back to the database alongside this data. And you can't do that with Lumira Discovery because it's not, I would say, the initial use case of self-service BI. But Lumira Designer provides you this kind of possibilities of writing back to database, for example. And so this is what I am saying, that it's really geared to create tailored application because you can put some business logic in it. And it's just data visualization. It's not just dashboarding, reporting. It's really application. And beyond the charts and the maps and what you can see on that, you can make actions directly from them. What I could want to do as well, if I have this information within my data, I have the phone number right there. I could call the customer directly from there, or I could call the reseller that have made the shipment to this person in order to call him and to understand what went wrong, etc. And you see when I click, it offers me to open Skype, and I'm not going to open Skype right now for the demonstration, but this is not fake. You can open Skype from the application in order to call someone. And it's not Skype necessarily, but any kind of applications, you can make interactions between them and what you have within Lumira Designer. And they're directly from the map using Galigeo for Lumira Designer. And when I'm done with that, I can say, okay, I'm all done. Perhaps I want to reset filters to start something new, etc. Or you could just say, okay, perhaps I'm just going to work on another state, and I can go back to the state part and select another state and do the same analysis, etc. And something also that is really, really good with Lumira Designer application is that it is responsive and it can work on tablet, on mobile. And we see more and more use cases around that and the possibility to use such application in mobility. And I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So let's select, for example, the Oregon to open back the application. When I contract my screen, you see that now it's going to go into yeah, you see it's going responsive. So the map is going below the header, etc. And so it's usable on an iPhone, for example, or on an iPad, etc. And I think this is something really important because you do not have to care about the responsiveness yourself, like if you were building a custom application. There, Lumira Designer is taking care of that for you. The same for the access to data, the same for filtering mechanism, etc. And you can really focus only on what you want to see in the applications and how the different components will interact with each other. And an application like that, I mean, there I would say it's just it's a sample. It's only a part of the application that I'm showing you right now. But designing an application like that, it only takes 3 or 4 days of work. If you went to build something from scratch, perhaps it could take months in order to make it work. And this is why we feel like, yeah, Lumira Designer is really underrated, but it has a lot of strength. And for the moment, SAP has announced only that I would say Lumira Discovery was more put, I would say, on ice right now, and this is what we are promoting it as a prototype tool. While Lumira Designer is still the main tool for this kind of use case. And so, and I'm pretty sure this is your case. If you have such needs, such requirements, don't start to don't try to go into building something from scratch or searching for a third-party app or tool. You have Lumira Designer and you can use that to create such applications. Okay, guys. I'm going to switch back. Sorry, really quickly. Sorry. Okay, we have already seen that. So now we are going to switch into we have 2 announcements to make right now. So the first one is that we have a new version for Galigeo for Lumira Designer that is going to be available into a few weeks, but it's already available into an early access program that everyone can apply to. And so we are not going to share the link right now, not during the webinar, but we are going to receive a mail in a few days to thank you for attending that, etc. And you will have the link to enter the early access to get this to try this new version. And so there is just a glimpse of the roadmap and what have been put in the product. So yeah, stuff like display attribute support. I know a lot of customers that have BW were waiting for that. So this is no reality. This is in the product. Same for the hierarchy. You have new APIs to customize even more the map and the actions you can take on that, etc. But it's up to you to discover them all when you will be trying out the product. And the second one, which is the biggest announcement I think we are going to make during this webinar, is that the tool you have seen in Lumira Discovery, we have decided to make it available for free right now. And I would say this is aligned with what we have said during this webinar, and this is aligned with the prototyping use case that we were promoting. So it will be available before the end of the year, and same, you will receive a communication when it will be free available. So it will be up to 5 users per company and for prototyping usage. So mainly for desktop usage, and you will still have access to updates, to learning center, etc. And so the main purpose there is to let you prototype something really quickly. And if you have, I would say, geoanalytics needs to use Galigeo, without worrying about the trial that expired during the demonstration, etc., etc. So it will just be available for free. So it will be up to you to download it and to use it when it will be in a few weeks. So a question that you may have, I think, is why us and why Galigeo? So most of you already are already familiar with what we do, who we are, but yeah, perhaps you have this question about why choosing Galigeo over, I don't know, other solutions. So we build geoanalytic solutions for every business. And we really tried to make our product as simple as possible. So we know that you guys are not GIS experts, that you guys are not really often experienced with geo mapping. So the product is smart in itself and it's self-service. And you do not need to be an expert in order to build something. And as you have seen, for example, in Galigeo for Lumira Discovery, how easy it was to build something on the map. And it's just the matter of drag and drop 2 or 3 dimensions, and then you have already a result. And so we are really working towards making it as simple as possible. Of course, we are feature rich. We provide, I would say, everything you need regarding geomapping capabilities in themselves. And one of our main strengths as well is the capacity of making data mashup and data agnostic, and the possibility to blend, I don't know, data coming from Esri, from open data servers, with your operational data, all together on the same map. And for example, if I can give a really concrete example, from 3 weeks ago, we had an big insurance company in the US, and of course, you know, with the hurricane that was there some weeks ago, they wanted to correlate, I would say, their customers with the path of the hurricane, and they were able to make that work with Galigeo in 4 or 5 clicks. And so you see this capacity of mixing data together, because their command dimension is spatial, is something that we have worked as well on that, and that is really easy to leverage. And of course, everything that is related to SAP, like single sign-on, when you use Galigeo within SAP, you do not need to have your own login for Galigeo, etc. The certification, all of that, of course, helps a lot to adopt Galigeo and to deploy Galigeo within companies. So just some two quick news from us. We also have a new version of Galigeo for Web Intelligence, which brings a lot to the table. So it's not the purpose of this webinar today, but just to know that it has been released a few weeks ago. So you can go to our website to download it. And we plan also to make a webinar soon, but more dedicated to the webby part. And another one, which is less known, I think, from the public of this webinar today, we provide an API, so what we call the Galigeo API. And so everything you have seen today within Galigeo for Lumira Discovery or Galigeo for Lumira Designer, this is not only, I would say, usable within SAP. And if you have other solutions, even other SAP solutions or other vendors, and you want also to leverage Galigeo capabilities in them, then you can use the Galigeo API to do that. It's already available, and the main purpose of that is to embed geoanalytics capabilities without having to go into tedious development, etc. Of course, why are we doing all of that is to make the life easier for a lot of customers all around the world. And so we thank them for trusting us and for using our solutions in order to improve their performance, to improve their business processes, etc. So you see a lot of names there in this slide. We are not, I would say, industry-centric. And there you see some customers in retail, in healthcare, in automotive, in supply chain, in security, etc. And they all use Galigeo for different purposes, but they all leverage their use cases using all the capabilities we provide them out of the box. Okay, so we had planned 40 minutes, and I think we are on time. So I think you guys ask a lot of questions in the chat. We are going to take, I would say, the more relevant, and if we have no time to answer them, we are going to take them offline and send you a separate mail to the person that have asked in order to answer them.
Okay, thank you everyone. If you also have some questions, don't hesitate to write to us right now. It's still the moment to do so. First of all, in the demo, we were having Vincent, I would say a high level of zoom. Would it be possible to go down to the street level? Would it be possible to do really, I would say, a pinpoint location or something using the Galigeo extensions?
Yeah, so good question, and of course, you can go up to the level you want, and if you want to go into the street levels, it's really up to the data you want to plot on the map. And if you have customers, and if you are at street level for your customers, then yes, you can go up to the street levels, and you are not limited by some kind of, I would say, hard-coded level that we would have put. We have customers, for example, working into the railway industries, and they want to see incidents on their railways, and of course, they are able to see that using the Galigeo product.
Another question was about data coming from live connection. So it's working with import connection, so we've seen that.
Yep.
And we were requested by if we could support SAP BW and SAP HANA. I think that we've already kind of answered, but maybe you can give some more information about that.
So yeah, good question as well. So it's all related to the slide when I've shown that we are data agnostic at the end of the webinar. Of course, we support live connection, and because we are data agnostic. So when you are within SAP BI, all the data parts are handled directly by SAP BI and not by Galigeo. So that means that you do not have to worry about which data I'm going to see on the map, and if a user does not have the right, I don't know, to see data from Texas, will he see data from Texas on Galigeo? And the answer is no, because the data will be resaved, for example, by SAP Lumira Discovery, and Lumira Discovery is going to give this data to Galigeo. And no matter if it's from Excel, from an import from HANA, or live connection to HANA, live connection to BW, it's going to work the same way for Galigeo.
And we're being requested about universes, and especially does Lumira Discovery and Designer support linked universes?
So it's more a question for the SAP team. I think I'm not sure 100% right now, so I'm not going to give an answer that would be wrong. So we can take that offline, and we can discuss more about your use case and what you try to achieve. But yeah, it's really a question for someone from SAP, because it's all about SAP. It's an SAP related question. But my answer would be yes, it is supported. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So let's take that offline. Okay, so I see another question just right now. Is that do I need Esri to use Galigeo? So the answer is no. It's not mandatory to have Esri using Galigeo. I know this is a question that comes often because we were traditionally known as I would say the Esri integrator within SAP, but it's not the case for years right now. And the Galigeo solution is really standalone. So if you have Esri in place, of course you can leverage things you have done in Esri through Galigeo within SAP BI. But if you do not have Esri, it's not mandatory in order to display something on the map. And no matter if it's points, polygons, lines, etc., or using ISO distance service, drive time services, etc., you can make it work without Esri. And one thing I wanted to add as well is that we are not only supporting Esri as a GIS server. And we have customers that have open source GIS server, like GeoServer, and it works also with Galigeo because we are OGC compliant. And so just to know that, yeah, we can integrate with all of the GIS server on the market.
We have another question about security and data security. So we use a lot of data that can be sensible data coming from customer, coming from different files. How do we manage security on those data, and how do we manage who can see what? So good question as well. So the first thing I can say is that Galigeo, I would say in itself, it stores no data. It's not going to snapshot the data, I would say, in its part. So all the data, I would say, regarding Galigeo are live, meaning that every time you open a report, it's going to be the SAP system is going to feed Galigeo with the data. And that's really good, because if you refresh something on the database side, it's going to be automatically reflected on the Galigeo map. And so for the security reason, you really do not have to worry, because all the rules that you would set, etc., you are going to do that on the SAP BI side. And Galigeo will automatically inherit from these rules. And so, like I was saying earlier, let's say that you are a power user and you have designed a web application that is all across the US, but you say, and when the user that is working on Texas is going to connect, will he only see the data from Texas on the map? And the answer is yes. If you have configured that well correctly on the BI side, on the SAP side, the map will only be able to display data from Texas, and same if the user is from California, etc., and so on. So yeah, no worry about the security, etc.
And we have a question about shapefile and about, I would say, own territories. So we did cover the data coming from live connection, but if you have, your own shapefile, if you have your own territory already designed on any other, I would say, product, can you import them using our Galigeo extension?
So yes, of course. In terms of what we support, in terms of geodata, we support almost everything that is, I would say, available on the market. So no matter if you are using a GIS server, if you want to rely on static file that you have downloaded, I don't know, on some kind of website, open data portal, etc. And the same, I was talking about Hurricane. So the Hurricane path was provided by a US agency, and Galigeo is able to directly connect to this agency server in order to retrieve the data. And of course, there the server was public. This is why we were able to do that. But yeah, you can just directly connect to open data portal, etc. And so the initial question was around shapefile, but yes, you can import shapefile using Galigeo and other kind of geodata.
Okay, thank you, Vincent, for everything. We still have a few questions, but I think that I see that we are taking some time, so we'll cover all the rest of the question during through direct email. Thank you very much for your attention to everyone. Vincent, thank you very much for this.
Yeah, thanks, Benjamin. And of course, we are going to provide this presentation and the recording of the webinar. You are going to receive that all of that by mail in the incoming days. So stay tuned. And if you have any more questions that you have not asked there, just feel free to send us a mail. Just reply to the mail invitation, to the webinar invitation you had, etc. And we look forward to hear from you and to hear from the project that you may have using geoanalytics. And I think you understood that Lumira is far from being dead, and there are a lot of options to explore in order to make the most out of it. So thank you, guys, and have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Bye, everyone.